We have been blessed again, folks. Yet another DLC for my favourite game of the year last year has dropped. So let's take to the waters yet again for hopefully another amazing adventure, as this time we return to... with the Iron Rig giving us 12 brand new achievements to reel in, which sees the ocean bed split open, releasing deadly foes that we have not seen before, and of course brand new fish types, including ones that are extraordinarily deadly. But that's not all. As for the rest of the achievements, we are going to have to pretty much master this DLC. All of its mechanics, the new fish, the new gear, everything. And if you haven't yet, I would suggest watching both of the previous parts to the Dredge achievement grind, just to catch up on all of the delicious context that I might not have time to explain in this video. And let's crack on with finishing this game for the third time, and to see if this DLC is worth the price. So without further ado, welcome to the achievement grind. The DLC begins with us immediately inspecting the new and impressive oil rig that has been set up in our little slice of heaven. Deciding where a nosy git, we immediately hop on board and meet some more of the locals. First, we meet the foreman, who explains that things already haven't been going too well for them all. They're still getting ready to set up shop, but their boat supplying materials have all disappeared. Fearing the ocean has taken them out, our first adventure sees us going to find some of those boxes and materials. These boxes are quite important to the DLC, and we will be consistently finding them and handing them in for story progression to begin with, but eventually needing these to craft all of the boat upgrades and such that we'll have later on as well. So we fetch a couple and, as you would expect, bring them home. Speaking to the foreman again, once we hand over the crates, we unlock the first achievement of the DLC with Missing Shipment, followed by the creation of the first building of the base. Another problem arises with fuel, so whilst the foreman figures out a plan of action, we meet some more of the humans. Next is the lead scientist, who looks like a calm and collected man. Sure hope it stays that way. With another crate, we also build him a brand new science wing, because we're just lovely like that. In the time it took to do that, the foreman comes back with a thought of the fuel problem. Fish. We can burn fish alive or something, and that will give the rig all of the energy that it needs. So for the first time in quite a little while, it is time to go and grab some fish. Now, since our boat is the strongest it can be thanks to fully beating the game and the last DLC, we have all of the upgrades and the best tech available, so it takes hardly any time for us to get the required amount and hand them over. With the rig full of fuel, they are able to turn it on for the first time and begin drilling. It immediately goes wrong, as we crack the surface of the ocean and oil begins spewing out, which is a massive problem as it seems to be unleashing some old and pretty deadly fish types, as well as causing more aberrations to the normal fish in this pond. This proves a great chance for some science, as we're then immediately tasked with going to the oil spill area and catching all of the new types of fish to bring back to the scientist for, science reasons. Before we leave, we also complete more buildings and meet more humans. The founder, who can build rare items for us at a cost, the shopkeeper, who, well, I'm sure you'll figure that out, and also a new engineer who can fashion tools perfect for ink fishing. So curious, we buy a new rod and head out into the ink to see what kinds of new creatures we can find. The first few fish we catch do indeed seem rather ugly and bizarre, but fish isn't the only thing that we're able to catch in these pools. Since we're swimming around in the ooze, occasionally we'll get attacked by an oil bubble. Get hit with one of these and it adds something called a dark splash to your inventory, which is nothing more than a little blob. But here lies our next achievement as well. As for simply getting hit with 5 bubbles and having 5 splashings in the inventory, we also unlock shadowed splashes. Folks, I don't think you need me to tell you how much I was already enjoying my time here. It was great to be back in the land of Dredge, and the DLC already seemed quite interesting. Now, another interesting find is what the engineer does on deck. We can go to her to enhance some of the abilities we've already unlocked. We can make our lights brighter, have our telescope give more information, and have our foghorn be a little hornier. Poor choice of words, but you get what I'm trying to say. And funnily enough, we were already able to buy every single ability enhancer that the engineer had, which means that when we purchased the third and final one, we unlocked another achievement as well. Eventually, we were able to catch all of the fish that the scientists needed for studying, so we race back to hand them over. Once we do, the same thing happens again as the ocean floor cracks and this time spills oil and new fish into a different region of the map. Wonderful. Alas, with this we also need a new contraption as well. We need to harvest the oil so that the scientists can have a look at it, as well as catching all of the new fish in the new region as well. For the oil, we're going to have to create an oil siphon. That will allow us to help clear the ocean, but will also give us canisters that we can use for special bait and upgrades and whatnot, so well worth having. Thankfully, it doesn't take much time to create the machine, just a crate and a net. Once they've been fused and we install it onto the boat, you'll be surprised to hear we also unlock remedial apparatus. With this, we trek back into the Gale Cliffs to ingest oil and of course catch the new fish about. And honestly, one of my favourite parts of this game is the art style, especially the designs of the characters and the fish. Thankfully here, they are just as good as they've always been, and unlocking new fish to see how insane or great their designs are were fantastic. As you can tell that the team really had fun with this. It is also worth saying that Dredge seems to be a little bit harder than I remember it being. Freak events happen more often, and some of the new creatures that chase you are both scary and amazing. And that includes the creature that spawns when we complete another batch of sample delivery. We give the scientist all of the amazing fish he asked for, and when we do, a behemoth starts to wrap around the rig, whilst it also separates the floor again into a new region. So it goes without saying, but I don't think the rig is doing great in regards to the ocean. So maybe we need to think about if we actually really want to help these folks. So we get back to immediately helping them. Now honestly, the gameplay loop at this point was already somewhat repetitive. A new area of the map gets inked up a little bit, we catch the new fish, hand them in and rinse and repeat. However, I was curious to see who the tentacles belonged to, so we pressed on. Eventually we're tasked with finding a way to get the squid off the rig. For that we're going to need to get help from the scientist that we met in the base game. Now it turns out that the corporation that she's running from are the exact same people who are running the rig, so she's not exactly thrilled to hear that not only they're back, but they need her help as well. She's unsure at first, but eventually decides to help, as she doesn't want the innocent people on the rig to die, which is nice I suppose. So we race back to the rig and get the new schematics uploaded and built. Once activated, it works a treat and the tentacles retreat back under the water. I bet that's the last we'll see of this menace. With the base safe, we now meet a suited man. This is the executive, and this rig is his business, which means that of course being a corporate bellend, he wants the rig immediately turned back on, and to heck with the consequences. As you'd expect, the drill does what it does, and splits apart another section of the ocean, and we all know what we must do now. But first, it is time to fully upgrade the iron rig. Over the last couple of hours, we've been catching crates and using them to unlock new areas, and at long last, we've finally upgraded everything to the maximum level. Another very nice accomplishment, which in turn gives us the next precious achievement with Rig Architect. As you'd expect, with that unlocked, we get back to it and go to catch even more new fish. Honestly folks, there isn't really much to say at this point, as it's what we've been doing for all of the DLC so far. However, something fun does happen. Remember when I said that the ocean is filled with new horrible creatures and the water seemed the scariest that it ever been? I think what happened to me next is the greatest example I have of that. And be warned, I do jump rather loudly. Wait, what the? Whoa, oh, I don't like the sound of that. That sound, no. Wait, is that actually something? Oh my god, no, no, no. Alright, yep, let's just, let's just get out of here. That, I'm not messing with that. God, shit! Oh my god! Oh, yeah. Oh my god, what the? With that horribleness out of the way, I'm now more scared of the water than I was before, but we will still catch all of the new species of fish in record time. About 15 minutes later, we have all the scientists asked for and we race back. Happy with our recent haul, the executive comes back and demands the drill go again, even though we're all saying that it probably isn't the best idea. And once again, we're proved correct, as we notice that the creature that has just killed me is now circling and chilling around the rig, and oil has started to spill out at the devil's spine, the scariest and deadliest part of the ocean that just got a whole lot freakier. You folks know what we do at this point, however, I'm pleased to say that something bizarre and unexplainable happens when we head out there. We soon find the puddles in question, but only seconds in, we find a new creature that spawns from the puddles and hunts us down. Because we're phenomenal at evading bastards though, we spin out of there and essentially run away. This also is the perfect plan, as once we've evaded this giant globby git, we unlock yet another achievement with the Gleaming Goliath. Terrifying and wonderful. But that isn't the only achievement we find in the waters of the Devil's Spine, because only moments later we catch all of the new fish in the entire game. And lo and behold, that of course is another achievement as well, unlocking us ancient ancient angler. And honestly, I wasn't expecting to have caught them all so soon, let alone that all of the new fish were caught as a part of the same storyline. So it was a shame that there wasn't any special kinds of fish hidden around, but hey, another achievement, so no complaints from me. Things get worse though when we return, as we see that the scientist on the rig appears to be going mental thanks to all of these cursed fish that he's prodding around. But that doesn't stop us from giving him the last collection that he needs to finish. Unfortunately, this was a bad move. As with the last couple of fish, the scientist erupts into a fishy, disgusting mutant monster, and he immediately throws himself into the water, disappearing under the waves. Alright, I'm freaked out now, but we still have more work to do, unfortunately. But it's the good kind of work, as it's time to shut this rig down and get the hell out of Dodge. To do this, we decide to pay a visit to the scientist from earlier who helped us with the machine to repel the creature. We then ask her how to stop the machine, but she has a great idea: to use it in a different way. Instead of repel, we can actually use it to attract the creatures to the rig. If that happens, they will have no choice but to abandon it, and that's exactly how it goes. We feed the new schematics into the machine that summons instead of repels, and within moments the tentacles are back and they crush the hell out of the rig and destroy the drill. But that's not all. The other creature then also comes back in a daring return and decides that calamari is for him. The beast takes the squid under the water and we see the executive race out of there. With that, we unlock the Iron Ruin, and the DLC is complete? Wait, what? The DLC is done? That's it? Okay. Not gonna lie, that was horrendously underwhelming. Now, I don't really want to get too ahead of myself, but that didn't seem like I got $15 worth of content to me. It's literally go here, catch 4 fish, come back, then go there, catch 4 fish, and rinse and repeat. I'm curious to see if they'll continue the DLC story in another update, or potentially another DLC in the future. Not gonna lie, it was nice to be back in Dredge and finding new monsters and fish, but this certainly is a questionable end to the DLC. I mean, we don't even see the monster that had the tentacles, we don't know what happened to the scientist, so I'm a little lost. But that's irrelevant, folks, as we now only have a couple more achievements to go before we tick this list off and complete the latest chapter of Dredge. So I wanted a slight challenge for the first section. In the DLC, there is an achievement for catching an aberration of an exotic fish. Now, exotic fish are fish you can only catch once during the entire playthrough, and aberrations are special variants of fish that you can only catch if you're lucky enough or use the right power. But you can only catch aberrations after catching the base fish, and since exotic fish only spawn once, I didn't really understand how we were going to get an aberrated version, as I've already collected all of the fish in the game. That is, until I saw that there were new baits in the new shop, specifically the gold one that apparently is capable of summoning the rarest of fish. With this, I knew the game plan. So we crafted one of these delicious treats, dropped it in the water, and when the fish spawned, we used atrophy, and we were lucky enough to in fact get an aberration exotic on our very first try, which in turn unlocks us the next achievement with Exotic Exemplar. Now, remember earlier when I said you can hoover up the oil for special materials to use in upgrades? Well, the next achievement has us simply collect 10 vials of the good stuff in total. An achievement you work on throughout the entire game, but with a dedicated hoover session, we were able to get the rest that we needed, and turn in unlocking another achievement with Dark Custodian. Only 2 more achievements left, to catch every single Iron Rig aberration of fish that have spawned in the game, and to get our boat's hull to level 5. Luckily, we can do both at the same time, as by trying to find the last fish that we need, we can also save up the thousands it costs to upgrade the boat. Slowly re-going over all of the old ground, making sure we grab every single amazing variant that we can find. And again, I have to sing the praises of the art team, as not only do the fish look great, but the apparition designs really show how much fun they could have with some of these. Over the next hour, we raced from spot to spot, and thankfully with a billion crab pots at work, we soon racked up plenty for the level 5 upgrade. Once we part with £2,500 of our own money, we get a level 5 hull and of course unlock the achievement Hull Industrial. The final achievement is here, and it only took us about maybe 20 more minutes to find the final fish that we needed. Once the last special gar had been caught, we unlocked the final achievement Primordial Deviations. And with that, we now have got every single achievement in Dredge for the 3rd time, and that only can mean for now, the grind is over. Folks, the DLC is something I have been very excited for a long time, and I can't lie to you, I'm a little bit underwhelmed for what we got again. Now, the new species of fish are great, the new dangers in the water, wonderful, and I completely see the direction that they went in with this chapter, but I cannot help but feel that there isn't enough content, and the story didn't end on a good note in my eyes, especially for $15 DLC. Considering the Pale Reach DLC was only $5 as well, it is really weird that they felt that this DLC was worth triple the price. However, I will say maybe the fact that I was already max leveled and had finished everything maybe made this feel a bit faster, because I can also totally imagine doing this at the same time as the base game and it feeling fantastic. So maybe that's unfortunately where I went wrong. Now don't get me wrong though, it is not all bad. They introduced some fantastic quality of life changes when it comes to the mechanics, the equipment and whatnot. And you already know that I have to praise the design again. And honestly, this DLC made the game feel the most tense it has ever been for me personally. In short, do I think $15 is worth it for this DLC? Honestly, no. But I do think it is worth picking up if you haven't played the game yet or want to wait for a good offer, because it does add a lot, but nowhere near enough in my opinion. As when I finished this, I couldn't help but feel like I wanted more, and not in the best way. Now, I still love Dredge and would recommend it to anybody because I really do love this game a lot, which means that I am honestly already eagerly awaiting the next DLC. So please don't keep me waiting too long, Team 17, please and thank you. And of course, you folks will have to let me know down in the comments what you think of the DLC as well. But there we go, folks. For the third time, Dredge has been completed, and I really want to thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you did enjoy it, make sure to like and subscribe as well for more content coming up. We have some amazing achievement grinds coming around the corner, so I hope to catch you for all of those. And if I can convince you to do that, I may also be able to convince you to swing by the Twitch as well, where we go for the achievement grinds live. It would be lovely to have you there, because all I do is suffer and get bullied, so join in. It'll be wonderful. But there we go, folks. I have already rambled for far too long today, so again, thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to see you in a future installment of the achievement grind. But until then, have a fantastic week, take care, bye bye for now.